So this development team is just coming off of a very long celebratory weekend where we got a chance to see hope illuminated in the lives of our clients. We couldn't have done it without you, our donors. Thank you for showing up, for donating, and for supporting, and most of all, helping us light a path forward to all that we serve.
And thank you to our staff who showed up and volunteered and helped us put together an amazing night. And to our community partners, thank you for your ongoing support.
And thank you to our donors and sponsors for the event. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to illuminate hope.
And we hope to see you next year at Reimagining Hope.
Good evening and welcome. My name is June Nolan and I'm really glad you're here tonight. Before anything else, I just want to say thank you for showing up and for being present and for being part of something that means so much to so many people because mental health touches all of us. Thank you for being here. And now, without further ado, please welcome your evening host, Marissa Gillum, our spirited Chief Administrative Officer, and Alex Lowe, our Administrative Manager.
I feel like I'm spirited. Aren't I spirited?
You are. Not as spirited as me.
Our first speaker for the night is Reverend Hitchcock. We are so grateful for our long-standing, just truly deep-rooted relationship with the St. Luke's Episcopal Church congregation.
And did you know St. Luke's was one of our founding partners?
Just pay attention tonight to all the stories, because every time I come into contact with the ministries of Cornerstone, I am inspired and I am given hope. It just makes me aware that change and transformation and goodness is possible in this world. And so I look forward to this night of having my soul and spirit nurtured so that way we can take that goodness out into the world. Thank you.
Yes, tonight is called Illuminating Hope for a reason, because so often the people who come to Cornerstone are walking through some of the darkest moments of their lives, overwhelmed, in crisis, unsure if things can get better. And in those moments, they may not be able to hold on to hope for themselves. So we hold it for them. We meet people in the dark, and together we help them find the light. Make a gift that is meaningful to you, a gift that helps ensure a child gets early intervention, a family stays together, and a person in crisis is never alone. Because hope doesn't just happen, it is built by all of us. I'd like you to look around the room now. As all of our wristbands come together, every color, every program, every life touch, this is what hope looks like. Not one moment, not one service, but a full continuum of care, a community, a promise that no one has to walk through darkness alone. Thank you for being part of that light. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our marketing manager, Shane Sr., who will help us recognize the incredible partners who made this work possible.
I previously had the privilege of working in the vocational program before stepping into my current role, which means that I got to see something special every day. Thank you. I get to see what happens when businesses and organizations choose to open their doors, take a chance, and invest in people. Because vocational work is not just employment, it's about dignity. It's about purpose. It is about someone realizing that they have something to offer. And that does not happen alone. It happens because of partnerships. It happens because organizations in this community say yes.
And tonight, you can see that shift happening from something uncertain to something steady. Every light around you, every bracelet now holding steady, reflects what happens when someone is supported long enough to believe again. This year, we will walk alongside more than 3,000 individuals to stand between what someone has been told and what is actually possible. And we do not do this work alone. We are partners in
Last year, more than 300 people came through our doors in crisis. And what happens after that matters. Symptoms began to settle, things start to feel manageable again, and a plan begins to take shape. Instead of cycling through repeated hospitalizations, people leave with a clear next step and a connection to ongoing
residential care. Employment is often one of the steps in rebuilding stability. It's not one path, it's a progression. And we stay with people through it.
He moved from our intensive residential care into less restrictive housing, and eventually into his own place. He didn't just find a job, but he grew his skills, he earned certifications, and he created stability for himself. He reconnected with his parents and stayed engaged in his care. Today, he's living independently in the community. And he's not alone. Last year, 146 young adults were served through our Transition Age Youth programs, with more than half securing employment as they work towards their own independence.
The primary drivers are not psychiatric symptoms alone, but chronic medical conditions that go untreated or are identified too late. Mental health and physical health are still treated separately, and unfortunately, the fragmentation extends well beyond this. Consider your own care and the complexity that comes with navigating insurance, navigating multiple specialists, correcting prescriptions, and why does nobody in medicine ever seem to be talking to each other?
Others, and she's used her voice to help Cornerstone, and we are definitely the better for it. And it is our honor tonight to recognize her with the Beyond Award. Please welcome us in welcoming and honoring Susan Cornspan.
15 years until I earned an AA degree. My job coach also helped me learn secretarial skills, so I worked part-time for 26 years for private industry, then full-time for 17 years for the federal government at FDA. They see me as a whole person and see healing is up and down. They give me dignity and compassion. I changed from a person scared of people to a person who shares her life and gets support back. I take care of Duchess, my 12-year-old cat, and have relationships with friends, family, including the 7 people that are here tonight. Neighbors and people from church. What an amazing life I've lived with Cornerstone Montgomery for 39 years. I think I will still continue to grow. Thank you for doing such a great job, Cornerstone Montgomery. God bless you. I am glad to have you in my life.
Thank you. That was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
This evening, you saw the story of a child illuminated, a child standing on the fragile edge between belonging and displacement, a child who could have been reduced to a case file, a placement, or a transfer from one door to another, but instead was met, they were held, and they were seen. This evening, you saw illuminated the story of someone in crisis, not after the damage was done, but the moment it hardened into something permanent. But in real time, in that breaking point, the space where everything could have potentially fallen apart. You also saw the story of someone rebuilding their life illuminated, not through grand gestures, not in headlines, but in the quiet, sacred work of the bearers of hope here at Cornerstone. And we saw their life begin to look like something whole again. And here's the truth that sits underneath all of this, that I want you all to lean into tonight. Every single one of these stories that we told you could have gone another way. That child could have been taken miles away from everything familiar, a bag packed without understanding, to a room in which no one knew their name, a system that knew their history, but not their heart. And in another version, that same child could become a story people talk about in past tense. A name attached to an incident, a life redirected before it ever had been given the chance to unfold. That moment of crisis could have escalated, not into care, but into consequence. A moment where confusion turns into confrontation and pain becomes something the system responds to instead of something the system understands. And suddenly their life is defined by that moment, reduced, contained, misunderstood. That life could have stayed broken, and that kind of brokenness when someone disappears from the world without ever leaving it, slipping through the cracks, unseen and untreated. And sometimes these individuals, they decided to leave this world, gone far too soon. And the difference between these parallel realities was not just chance, it was the arrival of hope. And you see, the wonderful thing about Cornerstone is that's what we do. All of us, our collective staff, we are bearers of hope. And that is what you have heard tonight, that our staff are leading the charge, and our staff, represented behind me, are the bearers of hope. These are the people who reach someone in that same moment when no one else will show up for them.